Hey everybody, my name's John, and I have a girlfriend, Trisha. Sometimes she drives me crazy with her explosive temper and uncontrolled jealousy, but she is, very special to me. Recently, I did one thing that made her stop talking to me. Here's what happened. Trisha and I have so much in common, and since we go to the same school, we have common friends and spend almost all of our free time together. We argue pretty often, and I've sort of already gotten used to it, and everyone around us doesn't even pay attention to our little fights anymore. I'll give you an example. Once she got upset by the fact that I still hadn't approved her friend request on Facebook. She said, we've been together for a few months, and she thought I might have been hiding something from her. I tried to explain that I don't use Facebook that much, and when I do, I just look around for some news while not even paying attention to friend requests. But since it was important to her, I went in and accepted her request. The next day, she got so dramatic because of every single girl on my Facebook friend list. At first, I tried to calm her down, explaining that this girl was my distant relative and that one was my mom's friend's daughter. But, at some point, I almost lost my patience and we were just yelling at each other. I ended up deleting my account, hoping to avoid any drama in the future. For the next couple of weeks, Trisha and I were great. We hadn't had a single argument. Then, one day, she came up to me totally excited and, as they say, with fire in her eyes. She started talking a mile a minute about bloggers on Instagram, showing me their profiles and saying something about monetization or whatever. When she was done talking, I finally understood that she was going to try to become a blogger herself. I knew nothing about blogging, honestly speaking, but according to Trisha, it could become an interesting hobby, so why not, I thought. At least she'll be busy with something. Nothing bothered me at first. It was even funny, for example, to make a nice joke and then see how many people liked it. But, the farther into the forest, from time to time it was really irritating and annoying when almost every one of our common moves, be it walking or talking, was turned into a video shoot and then uploaded. Trisha's major dream at that time was to go viral, but she hadn't managed to get enough subscribers yet. Soon after her first few tries as a blogger, her temper returned. The cornerstone in this story was our anniversary night. It was our first year together, and I really badly wanted to surprise my girlfriend. So I bought her that famous Pandora bracelet, a nice bouquet of flowers, and booked a table at our favorite cafe. I was really inspired, waiting for her to come and see what I'd done, but when she showed up, she was holding her cell phone so that I understood she was broadcasting the moment for her subscribers. I didn't ruin the evening, but I was far from being happy with being live on Instagram. I gave her my present, trying to keep up. Then she opened the present, showed it to her Insta public, and then, instead of giving me a thank you kiss, she continued talking to her front-facing camera. That was it. I've never felt that humiliated, neglected, and furious at her before. Now it was my turn to get hysterical. I shouted at her, saying some offensive stuff like she was far from being a good blogger since she was bad at everything and didn't even have any interesting topics to talk about. Words were just flying out of my mouth by themselves, and I wasn't even thinking about their true meaning. At the end of my passionate and offensive speech, I grabbed her phone out of her hands and threw it on the floor. She cried and ran away, not even taking the present I gave her. Everybody else in the restaurant began whispering. Of course, at that point, I seemed to be a monster to them. But it wasn't their lives that were constantly being shown to the public. I kept rethinking about that episode over and over for the rest of the day, and even the day after. Even though I wasn't 100% the one to be blamed, I knew I was certainly the one that needed to take the first step and apologize. At least I owed Trish a new phone. It took my whole savings to buy her a new one and all my will to go to her house and make up with her. I still felt I was right by being mad at her behavior that night, but I had to say it was my entire fault. She was happy that I'd come over and that I bought her a new phone, so we were great again. Later that day, I found myself thinking that I might have been an old school nerd for not getting interested in all that social network stuff. So I decided to open my Facebook account again. But that time, Trisha was the first and only one I was going to be friends with. And when I found her Facebook page, I was surprised, and not in a positive way. She had posted something about us and our relationship every single day. Can you imagine? Either we were good or bad or going to the movies or arguing. Everything was there. She literally shared every single detail of us and even posted a few really personal photos, like the one where I wasn't feeling well and had fallen asleep with my mouth open. I really didn't like that. I knew that if I asked her to remove those things about me from her page, we would fight again. So I thought, how about I do the same thing to her to make her see how I feel? I had one photo where she looked pretty creepy when she had a green beauty mask on her face and hair curlers in her hair. I knew she didn't want anybody to see it. Nevertheless, I uploaded it and made sure she saw it. Of course, she made a scene. I couldn't manage to explain why I actually did this with her photo because she just wouldn't let me. She yelled at me saying plenty of offensive stuff. As you might have guessed, we're still not talking to each other, even though I already deleted the photo. She won't answer my calls either, or my texts. I've also noticed, by the way, that she has completely stripped her page of anything about me that I didn't like that much. Now I just hope this is not a sign that we've broken up, because I don't want to. I don't have a clue how to surprise her and make her forgive me. Do you? Please share your thoughts in the comments below this video. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more interesting stories that have actually happened.